audio playing software you got out there. Very versatile. You can mod it. Somewhat customizable, not too much. Okay, we are live. Let's take a look on YouTube, make sure everything's good. Stream health looks shitty, so we're gonna update that. Connect to Ethernet. How's your internet over there, everybody?
Alright.
Good. Awesome, Donde, good to hear. Donde, the hard worker. Donde used to be the wholesome one. Now he's the hard worker. Just tapping away. Tap. Hey Donde, what kind of tablet do you have? Graphics tablet. Is it one with a screen, or is it one where you have to look at the monitor separately?
It's the one where you have to look at the monitor separately.
Okay. Is it a Wacom or one of the other brands?
It's a Wacom.
Oh, nice.
I got it, I think, a couple years ago when it was on sale for 60 or 70.
Nice. They go so expensive. They're like Macs or Sony PCs. I got one of the a few months ago when I was getting deeper into this tile project. I got myself an XP Pen tablet. Really nice. At the time it was $400. Now they're $300. It's 15.6 inches screen, and then you got the buttons on the side, but you're actually drawing on the screen itself. But I love it. I used to have an even cheaper one with the screen on it because Wacoms are way too expensive if they have the screen on them. They're like $2,000 or at least $1,000 with the screen, I think. And I always, of course, like the screen. And it's not much of a difference, I think, from a Wacom or Wacom to these other brands. But, yeah, I love this one. The one I had before was a cheaper Taiwanese one, and that one was kind of big and bulky. But this one's light and thin. It's pretty awesome. I'm happy with it so far.
Normal.
Okay. That's enough talk. Enough talk. There I am. Here I am. If anybody ever can pick up that game. Here I am. Alright. Greetings. Nice. Chris is there. He's been quiet. Well, we are officially live. Welcome to the Saturday Monstercast. Every Saturday at 2 to 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We talk about everything Monster. We have a topic for every stream that's preset. We make a vote on the next topic at the end of every stream. Hope the volumes are okay. Seems I'm a little bit on a loud end. I'll try to balance the volumes. Always let me know if the volumes are a little unbalanced, if somebody's too quiet or too loud. I'll try to always adjust that from my end first before you have to fiddle with your own volumes. We try to make it easy for you here because you know what? Life's just not easy. Right, Jono?
Yes.
There we go.
Why are you asking me about that?
Just felt right. Pro, question to you real quick before we get started. How's your movie watching going? You been seeing much? Any new stuff out there? Okay. I'm asking because it's a good way to start out the chats. Okay, you're getting to it. Okay. So a couple of things I watched. I watched the kind of horror, not really horror, kind of weird movie. It's called, what is it called? A spring movie. I just forgot it. Midsummer. Thank you very much. See, Jono, that's why you're Slayer. Sorry, Pro. Yeah, Midsummer. Yeah. Midsummer. It's a different spelling than regular summer. And it's okay.
Arthur.
Yep.
Mel.
Okay. Anyway, anybody seen that movie? Any thoughts about it?
I still have to watch it.
You still have to. Chris doesn't seem to have watched it. Okay. It's an okay watch. It seems like they. I'm gonna have to see if there's anything metaphorical to it, like with the movie Mother. That's a whole metaphor of a movie, and that's a pretty cool movie. I enjoyed that one.
Where?
It was just going more and more and everything.
Huh?
Just more intense. But this one, it just seemed like the. Stop mumbling, Jono, please. But this one, it just seemed like the director, producer, writer, they just try to stick in as many just odd, weird, cultural, this little society things as possible. Just a little contrived in that way, but I don't know. And I just rewatched the new Conan. I wanted to see how that movie. The thing is, you guys probably saw the movie Pathfinder, I'm guessing. Some of you. Have you?
No.
It looks like Chris might be speaking, but I can't hear him. Chris, if you are...
I have not.
Oh, I think you're very quiet. Oh, crap.
This is strange. I've literally untangled my mic, and I'm speaking kinda loudly.
Yeah, you're really quiet on my end. If you can mess around with it more.
Literally everything jacked up.
You do. Okay, that was a little better, but it's more quiet than usual. We'll see. Maybe something will change. Let me know, guys, how you guys feel. Not feel, Chris. How you feel, Chris, too, but from a distance, of course. But how do you hear Chris? Let me know how his volumes are, so I know it's not just me. So anyway, the movie Pathfinder, pretty cool movie, action movie. Got Vikings coming to America, messing around with Native Americans, I believe. It's been a while since I watched that, but I know I enjoyed it. But I know it's not a great movie. And it's not rated great. It's got a crappy rating. Well, the same director did the new Conan. And I was like, this movie sucks. I remember it sucks. But I like Pathfinder. But it's not that Pathfinder's a great movie. It's that Pathfinder is an original idea. Conan is not. So when you buy a license or rent a license, whatever, something big like Conan, and you have previous movies, that's where the judgments come in. You see, if it was called Kroll or, like Kroll, but something that I didn't know, then I'd judge the movie differently. I'd probably enjoy it, say it's a crappy movie, but I'd still enjoy it. But since they gave it the title of Conan, you already have preset, thoughts about it. Nonetheless, I'm wondering if the new Conan movie is more by E. Howard's book or not, because I feel like it is more closer to the book, yet the direction sucks of the movie. It's not the actors, again. It's got the guy from the original Hellboy. It's got, of course, what's his name? The Hawaiian guy. I think he's Hawaiian. That played Aquaman from Game of Thrones too. He plays Conan, which...
No, Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Momoa. Which
Jason
sounds very
Momoa.
Hawaiian. And I have no problem actually with... I did at the beginning, but I got used to him. So I have no problem him being Conan, because Conan does have black hair, or initially. Arnold's Conan was different in that regard. He's, of course, less built than the Conan you see on the book covers. But he still plays Conan all right. And so the other character, again, it's down to the director on that one. But to those of you, or any of you here, who have seen that movie, what are your thoughts? And do you know if it's closer to the original writing? Because I do want to read that book. A moment of silence for me.
I'm not familiar. I can't say that I'm familiar with either the literature or the this latest movie.
Gotcha.
I didn't know there was a new movie of Conan out.
Yeah, it's 2000, I think 11 or something.
Oh. No, I don't remember.
2011 or 6? No, I think no, that's too early. I think 2011. So yeah, let me know. I look forward to reading that as well as the Lovecraftian mythos. Speaking of Lovecraftian and books, I've been working at a bookstore, and it's very inspiring for me. We have a big crafting hobby art store here called Hobby Lobby. Anytime I go into it, I want to do stuff. I love those stores. It's a huge store here. They have so many art supplies. When I get in, the creative juices just go nuts. Do you guys have Hobby Lobby over where you're at, Donde? Or Michael's?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I just love those stores. But we've been working at the bookstore lately. We have a big bookstore here also called Barnes & Nobles. Don't go to the bookstore anymore often. Now they sell more board games than they used to because books are, going digital. But they still have a lot of books. But it's just, one, I feel guilty whenever I walk into a library or bookstore because I don't read enough. Two, awesome stuff. Just so much eye candy, so many beautiful books, and there's so many awesome books that are written now. Anything you want to learn, it's like the internet. Now you go to YouTube if you want to learn something. Same with books. There's just so much stuff, and it's just better and better, because as time goes by, right? Well, some. So I saw different versions of Lovecraftian books, the Conan book. There's a nice new one with Conan. It's just got a black cover and something on it. It's beautiful. And they came out with this new material for book covers, too. It's really cool. It's like a synthetic leather. I wonder if it's very biodegradable. I kind of want to ask the store runners, but it just feels so nice. It's such a cool material. Anybody here have a cool bookstore near you guys where you live out there?
No exclusive bookstore. We have a number of bookstores. They're just not an exclusive.
Okay. Yeah, this is just a big general one. I do live near exclusive, kind of smaller ones in downtown, but don't have time to go to those. But yeah, I recommend for you guys, one, if you're not too artistic, I always recommend going to an artsy store. Just walk around, see. You never know what you need. Those stores are those kind of stores where they have products that that you didn't know you needed, that kind of thing. But I recommend that you guys, whenever you have some free time, you're hanging out with a girlfriend or a friend or alone, head over to a big bookstore. Just browse around. I mean, it's hard to leave a beautiful bookstore without a book too, or without reading something, if they let you do that. Okay, that aside, one more question before we get started on Donde's challenge here. We will be going over Donde's Monster Challenge for last month and seeing if he mentions anything new, but we will be looking at people's submissions today. One more thing, guys. I had a question. So there's all these mobile games coming out. All this shiza. And I downloaded one, finally. I haven't been playing mobile games since Plants vs. Zombies really 2, probably. Or Sudoku. But I got one, and it was just crap. But it's so, advertised on Instagram and crap. So I was wondering to you guys, is there any mobile game you love? Like one of those with the better graphics or just really cool puzzle? I don't know. Is there anything that you're playing that you actually enjoy in mobile games now?
Honestly, no. I haven't enjoyed any mobile since I was a kid.
Since you was a kid. Okay, so you already had mobile at that time.
Let's see, I had mobile when I turned 13. Was my first mobile phone.
13. Gotcha. Yeah, when I was 13, pagers were getting popular. Pagers, if we even know what pagers are anymore. I don't know what the point of pagers. It was so silly because I was in middle school at the time, and people had pagers. And that was like a really cool thing because we didn't really have cell phones yet. Not at that age. Business people had cell phones or car phones. But, in middle school we didn't. And middle school is about 4th to 5th grade or 6th grade, 7th grade. I'm getting old. Anyway, but people have pagers, and all a pager does is it lets you know if somebody called you. So why the hell at 13, 14, 15 years old do you really need a pager? And I got one too, and I didn't know how to use it, but it was just cool to have that, something you need to look down on, every once in a while, look important. But 14, 13, and people had pagers, and they were connected to the phone number. Oh goodness. society. I guess that's it. Nobody's playing mobile games. That's good to hear. Since they're over advertised. But apparently, people do play them since they're making money. Let's get started with the party today. We're going to be talking about, after Dande's challenge, we're going to be covering Monstercast number 64, Monster Slayers. The rules? It can be human, can be monster. The point is, they have to be a good enough slayer of monsters to be considered like an expert, or I think as Pro said, it's like their vocation, their job. Okay? So they're that good. So at least 10 monsters, probably more than that. We'll see what you guys cover. Hopefully people show us stuff we haven't heard about much. I didn't even realize that. I was talking about Conan at the start. So I guess that was meant to be, as he's quite the monster slayer. We'll see if that's covered, but whatever. I don't want to spoil that. Just reviewed that movie or rewatched it lately, the new one. Definitely recommend the Arnold Conans over that. They just took time, movies took time to get you in the scene, the music. Dagon's in the second one, a different Dagon. Which made me wonder, is Lovecraftian, or did Robert E. Howard take in Lovecraftian mythos into Conan lore? We need somebody here that's versed in Conan lore, damn it. Hopefully that will be me soon enough. But there are Lovecraftian things in the Conan writings, so I'm just wondering if in the original. Anyway, sorry for the
Conan was in Lovecraftian Tales.
loose intro. Oh, JMPF, thank you. I know I can always count on you. You said Conan was in the Lovecraftian lore.
Yes. Yes, there's some tales about him.
So are you saying that Lovecraft actually created the Conan character?
Another writer.
Right, it was Robert E. Howard that wrote the first Conan book or books. But how are they connected with Lovecraft? Aha. No answer. Okay. That means it's a good. What? Yes. JMPF, do you know?
I'm sorry, I forgot to. It's in the past when one of a lost country that was destroyed by Lovecraftian gods.
Okay, so Robert E. Howard took Lovecraftian lore into his books, so he was influenced by Lovecraft then.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So it's just later. All right, all good. Louis said, seen Pathfinder, but can't remember what I saw. So is Conan your monster slayer? I guess. I don't plan to talk. Well, maybe. I'll see. But it wasn't meant to be. Definitely wasn't. The book is closely adapted to the first movie with Arnie. Right, the Barbarian. But the new movie is also called Conan the Barbarian. So be careful, guys. Watch the correct Conan the Barbarian first. The music in the game is very good. Ooh, the game? Really? The music in the original movies is amazing. Drums. Shumagara. We need more drums in movies, damn it. We need more synths and drums. We don't get... Like, look at all these newer action movies. Or do we even have cool warrior medieval action movies coming out or lately? Not really. But do they have hard drum beats, like inspiring warrior, powerful communist music? I say communist. I say communist because actually communists play that kind of music a lot.
No, it's not communist. It's just a popular thing in Eastern Europe. It's a Slavic thing, not a communist thing. Please do not associate the two. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm not referring even to Europe. That's communist music I heard in Asia. And they do play hard music, and it's trumpets and stuff. I'm not sure what you're referring to in Europe, but maybe there's something similar.
An Asian thing. We do not do communism is a bad thing. We do not do it here.
Yes. Well, I'm not going to get into that, but whatever. It is a communist thing in Asia, so it's not necessarily, I don't know if Asian, maybe Asian communists, whatever. But anyway, we don't see that stuff in movies anymore. It's rare that you see a movie now and you're left with the song from the movie. You're usually left with the song feeling cringy, or when the credits come in and you're in the theater and you just watched a decent movie and then the song just plays and you're just like, I want to get out of here. You know that feeling when you're in the theater, or maybe you don't. Let's get started. Donde, I've rambled about nothing enough. Let's get the challenge going. So the last challenge, everybody, was create your own monster. And go ahead, Donde, take it away.
All right, the one I posted is by Raincrawler, and he wrote down, "Once a man, now a beast, forced to walk the earth day and night because of his hunger, inspired by the deer head from Evil Dead."
Beautiful. I didn't realize that was for the challenge. I did see him posted in there. And if anybody's watching, you're always welcome to join our Discord. Actually, it's just Louis, but if anybody watches later, you're always welcome. We have a cavern here for just creating monsters, artwork, and such, and we're very supportive of that here. As I said before, if this Discord ever is destroyed or falls apart, I want to keep it at least as an art center. Continuing. All right, what's next for us? Awesome, Raincrawler.
And this one is by GMP. He calls it the Gliding Nightmare. It's a hyper-evolved fish with the ability to fly short distances and big enough to devour whales of good size. It
Nice.
originated as an evolutionary step on deep sea life.
Cool. It's like those, I forgot the name of the fish, the gliding fish, that have the little wings and they jump above the water, fly for a little while. Nice.
Where is the descends from them?
Cool. So it was inspired by that, but much larger and with a spine thing on his tail. It's definitely big enough to eat whales. So good sizing there. Has kind of a shark look to it. I like the black eye. Nice and simple, but scary. What do you guys think? Before we go on, since this will get covered in the chat. First of all, anybody any thoughts on the first one that was shared by Raincrawler, the deer-headed one?
It reminds me a bit of a Wendigo, to be honest, but it's a
Mhm.
pretty dope looking sketch.
For sure.
It is very cool.
Mm-hmm. I know Jono got inspired by it. He said it had very Agalok vibes. Apparently Agalok uses deer antlers or something in their design.
Their aesthetics. Yeah.
Their aesthetics. Mm-hmm. Cool. Yep. I definitely saw the Wendigo, or how a lot of people portray the Wendigo as when I first saw it. Nice and intense. Cool. Okay, next one. And what did you guys think about JMPF's whale thing?
It's a neat concept, but a bit oversaturated on giant whale monsters, you could say.
I see. You've seen too many?
Yep. So nothing personal. It looks delightful. It's just I've seen a bit too many of those.
I see. Okay. That all? Okay. And what was the name of this one again?
Gliding Nightmare.
Gliding Nightmare. Sweet. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that it has wings because that's the thing you always put to little creatures, like fairies and stuff, that type of wing. But if you have this thing and kind of gliding, jumping on top of ships, that's awesome. Submarines cannot hide anymore. Alrighty, Donde, let's go with the next one.
This one is mine. It's called the Kenta Morph. It's a creature from another world or dimension, and the inhabitants of that world are deaf. But what they don't know is that, and what probably people found out, is that its vocal cries can shape and reshape anything that hears it play from its head. So on its head it has like flute-like nostrils, And so it'll play music, and if it's feeling hungry or angry, it'll reshape anything that hears it to be something that it wasn't.
Wow, nice. Kenta Morph. And
And
that's
it's maximum 20 centimeters.
okay. So it's a smaller creature. So can you repeat that again with how it changes something's shape and why does it do that?
Well, it plays musical notes out of its head whenever it's feeling sad or hungry, and it'll reflect it upon anything that hears. So if it's emotionally sad, it'll warp creatures or people to reflect its personality.
Gotcha. Love it. It made me when you said how it reflects that, it made me think of chameleons and other creatures that change their color. Largely, well, octopi too, although they're better with blending, but chameleons, largely do that. What is unknown to a lot of people because of their emotional or just their interior feeling is why they change colors in a certain way too, or mainly. So it's cool to see a creature that does that, but does it to the viewer instead of itself, and even more drastically. That's pretty awesome. So Don, I have to ask you, since you came up with the challenge idea, and this is your monster, did you have this in your head for like months ahead, or really was it like spur of the moment creation for the challenge?
It was spur of the moment. I had like other ideas, but I decided to save them.
Nice. Any thoughts on that?
I based it off of that one dinosaur that I'm forgetting. It's blanking. That supposedly pushes music out of it.
Ah, okay. Nice. Cool. Any thoughts? Anybody? Dante's Kenta
Well,
Morph?
that's a quite intriguing creature. Would make for an interesting encounter in some fantasy setting.
How permanent, Dante? Because now I was thinking, since it's so small, 20 centimeters, you can usually easily keep it as a pet, but it has this ability to change your form. You said, right? So how permanent is that change? How effective is it?
It's permanent. You can't change back once it starts morphing you.
Oh shit. Okay, so it's a morph, and it's probably a slower morph, I'm assuming.
It goes with the music.
Okay.
So it could be painful, or it could not.
Wow. That's pretty
Don't
awesome.
play metal.
What
Play a nice ballad.
what's that, JMPF?
Better to play a nice ballad and not a metal song.
Right.
It will be painful.
If you keep it as a pet, keep it happy as hell. What a great pet to give someone you don't like. Kind of like critters, give them what's it called? A mogai. I think that's what it was called. But something, this weird creature that's kind of cute, but then they realize it's like cursed or really has this bad effect. Like this would be great to give someone that just doesn't take care of animals well, abuses animals, and here, see if you can take care of this, and give this to them, and then they change into a plagued rat. Well, I mean, in Chris's behalf, that could be good, but I meant that. Let's say something different. A plagued mole, poking at you, Chris.
That's perfectly fine. Though I will say I am simply a rat, not a plagued one.
Actually, this could bring Chris's dreams come true. To truth.
Too much RNG. I don't do things unless I have an 80% certainty that they'll turn up in my favor.
Right. This certainly is a gamble so far. We need to do more research. I like it, Donde. I definitely like to add it into some bestiary. We should keep a collection of Monsterite created monsters, and maybe in the future, I can make a video about that or something. I don't know, just a thought, because I think we have some awesome creations here over the last year or years coming up. Okay, let's go with the next one. What do we have, Donde?
And this next one is the last one I got. It's from Matty McFly. It's a mini he sculpted, and it's a cyclopean flame skull inspired by
Sorry, you were saying inspired by what?
It's inspired by a monster from Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
A cyclopean.
Oh,
Okay.
right. I forgot it because I was thinking Beholder, but no, there's the Cyclopean floating heads, and there's a group of floating heads. I forgot what those monsters are called. Sweet. And it's a mini. Yeah, I saw he just posted that up recently. So awesome to have a mini sculptor among us. Any thoughts about it, guys?
Well, it's a delightful looking mini. So what? Does it shoot? Does it have any similarities to a beholder in shooting lasers out of its eye?
Donde, do you know of any such details that he shared with you?
No, he didn't share much. Yeah,
Okay.
you can ask him. I think he's on.
Cool. Okay. And who was that again? No, not King. Maddie. Cool. Hopefully he'll show up. But sweet. I like it. I like it even for our logo. Instead of our regular glowing green burning skull. I mean, our Cyclops skull. We have a burning Cyclops skull. We can make green flames. Ooh. I don't know. Might have to talk to Maddie about this one. Do we have any thoughts about this one, guys? Any other thoughts?
It looks good.
Looks
I
good.
love it.
I love simple minis like this. Because then it comes down to the painter of the mini to really express that mini. And it doesn't need much more. It is what it is. It's not like one of those minis where you can keep adding something. All right, Donde, do we have anything else?
Nope. That.
Sweet. Another successful Monster Challenge. Thank you all who participated in the Monster Challenge. I really do appreciate that. I know Donde does, and it's just a wonderful thing. I would as well if I had more time. And also because I don't have more time, I don't make enough contests and art-related stuff except for every Halloween or October. And I would like to, so I'm really happy that Donde does do these, and so I do appreciate that you guys work up stuff for it. Donde, did Beth, I saw she created something, but I think it was only for Darkus, I think, or someone. So she didn't make anything for the challenge, did she? I'm just double checking.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Usually the people.
Gotcha. Okay, let's see. Louis said, fought, Shuma connects Marvel Universe. All right, guys. So before we wrap that part of the Monstercast up, care to share which one's your favorite and why? Any additional thoughts?
I gotta say I like Donde's thing because it's quite unique and possibly useful in my future D&D campaigns that I do.
Cool. Jono, do you have a favorite among them?
The rain crawler one.
Raincrawler? Sure, definitely.
I love.
If you can turn up your volume a little bit too, Jono, or just get closer to the microphone. Remember, guys, if you're holding a mic, I know a lot of you wear headsets, which I should be doing, but if you are holding mics, always get your mouth as close to that microphone as possible. We'll let you know, of course, if it's too close, but usually that's, for the best. As I do. Creating my nasty microphone. This microphone over time is going to become a monster in and of itself. After we've done enough monster casts, you'll see this spongy thing on the top. It's going to come off and do something that a monster would do in one of Donde's comics. Mentioning Donde again.
Oh boy, God.
Donde, do you have a... I don't want to say favorite, but one that you really stuck out to you other than your own during this challenge? Yeah. Louis said the Cyclopean Flame Skull is cool, for sure. And I guess we'll end it there. I'm not sure if Donde picked that up.
Yeah, my favorite out of the bunch is Matty McFly's one, just because he sculpted that in its mini size.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna have to give it to. I have to do an award system where I award everyone, so it's not everybody wins kind of deal. I'm gonna have to give the grittiness to Raincrawler, the grittiness and aggressiveness for sheer size and epicness. That prize goes to JMPF. Donde's, I think that's the most creative one and well-rounded one for me. Really enjoy that concept and what you can do with it even more because it's such a cool concept. Kenta Morph. And of course we got the mini. You know how I feel about minis. The eyes say everything. Just cool that someone sculpted. I'm assuming he already kind of was sculpting that before, maybe not for the challenge, but it's still his creation. I'm not sure. It's still an awesome little mini. It's done from green stuff. It's not a digital sculpt, so it's always good to see traditional artwork. And it's a great idea because, of course, it's a Cyclops skull on fire. And you know we gotta love that here. So huzzah to Cycloptic skulls. And where's my emoji?
And he was working on something else, but he wasn't going to get it finished in time, so he did something. He did
really?
this one instead.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's got to be pretty quick too. I mean, like you said, he's done sculpting collaborations and work for others. So I'm assuming he's sort of an experienced sculptor. It doesn't take him, weeks upon weeks to make something like this. Where's my skull emoji? Jono?
Oh? Oh,
I gotta call you out. Oh, there it is. Okay.
trying to fix another problem, Arthur. Just do something on your own for once.
Love it. All right, there we go. That was supposed to go with my shout out to Cycloptic Skulls. Okay, let's get this party really started. Everybody's warmed up, I hope. We gotta get C in here. What the hell's he doing? Oh, they're not disturbed form. Kind of shit is that?
Usually in that setting, I pinged him, trying to see if he'll come by.
Cool, thank you, Curse.
Let me just drop him a quick PM to say.
And what about Darkus, guys? Can you guys get because Darkus is active all the time, and he's not here now.
He says that his internet is very slow, so
Oh,
he
I
can't
see.
be able to
Shucks.
join.
Damn, I feel like he's been up all night. He goes to sleep at crazy hours as well. Well, that does suck. That's also a reason why Beth stopped joining into damn internet, stopping people from the Monstercast. It's because we stream these from the deep caves, it's tough. All right, let's get the party going. Let's talk about Monster Slayers. I think I'm just gonna call out people today to present, kind of random.
Yes, so Zeal will sadly not be able to join us today. He has had a heavy day, so he is
Aw.
taking a bit of a break.
Okay, well, if you talk to him again, tell him we wish him a good break, and no worries. All right, with that, let's start with. Let's see. Let's start with Dio. If you're there, Dio. Haven't seen him typing lately, and I know it's late for him. I don't want to keep him up too late if we don't have to. If you hear me, Dio. Is Pro still here? Wait, Pro left? Jono?
That's sad.
Couldn't stay awake anymore.
Oh, really? I missed that. Should have had him.
Too much
He
Friday.
says thank you for wishing him a good break.
Oh, cool. Right on. Sorry, guys, but staying late. I need to sleep now. Okay, that's understandable. That's. Oh well, these hours, Okay, with that, Dio seems to be dead or dying. So, We'll see. If Dio gets active, we can let him present. Let's call Dio out here. With that, let's go to the next person. Let's see. Let's go to Chris. Let's have you go first.
Actually, I'm kind of helping a friend right now, so would it be possible for me to go later?
Okay, no worries. Let's start with Jono then. Master Slayer Jono.
I'll say that later. I'm trying to fix one thing now.
You are.
Let's
I-
check that.
I hope it's our Discord related.
No.
Jono, you are really asking for it. Okay, well, Donde, want someone in voice? I guess it's back to you. Tell us the Slayer you wanted to share today. Moment of silence.
Right, I picked one.
Cool.
The Slayer that I picked for today is an obscure one, I hope. Probably not. It depends on if you watch anime. They're called D.
D.
The what?
Can you repeat what they're called, Donde?
Sometimes
You cut out.
their name is D. Just the letter D.
Oh, that one.
But they're known as vampires.
Sweet.
It's a character based off of a series of novels and I think some manga and a couple of. I don't know if there's any more of it, but he's like this cold. I'm guessing a vampire hunter that usually is hired by people to either hunt vampires, mostly vampires, and other monsters that are sometimes sent by the vampires. At least from the anime that I saw of him.
Nice. So, I have to ask if is, and excuse my ignorance of it, if it is, are these related to Van Helsing then?
No, he is actually the son of Dracula.
Oh. Vampire Hunter D. So that's what the D is in Vampire Hunter. It's the group. Cool. Obviously, I cut out clips from those, but it's good to know more. I need to watch those. Those seem like really cool movies, actually. I don't know if they have a series, but I know they have a couple Vampire Hunter D movies. So, Donde, how did you come upon this Slayer?
I think it was wandering through a Barnes and Noble one day, and before, oh no, it wasn't Barnes and Noble. It was another bookstore before they closed.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Borders, I think,
Oh, yeah.
and I just went around and was looking through the books, and I just saw this movie laying on the shelf, and I just grabbed it because it looked interesting.
Nice. Yeah, I forgot about Borders. I think Barnes and Noble is like bought Borders or something, or ran them out of business. It's like all the sporting stores. We had what was that one? Athletic store that went out of business, and now all we have for big athletic stores are Dick's. That's right, people, Dick's, and it's really a big
I'll-
store here.
Yes, I did
Be right
spot
back.
Dicks when I was in the States.
Yep.
I was immensely amused.
Did you go into Dick's?
Nope. I literally saw it just because it was right next to the Walmart. No, wait, no, it wasn't next it was next to the Sandusky Mall, not the Walmart.
I see. When you saw the Dick's, did it look like a strong building or did it look soft and flaccid?
I'd say somewhere in the middle.
Okay, that's a good foundation. All right, well, right on, Donde. What can you tell us? Do you have any specific D, or how did they become a D? Like from being a regular vampire to becoming a D? Like, is there a level of monsters that they have to kill before they attain this position?
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Other than that, he's probably was born half vampire and half human. I put the wiki up in case anybody wants to read more into it.
Cool.
But other than that, though, he usually goes around and he's either hired or he takes on the tasks to try to hunt down these vampires. At least from the one anime movie that I saw, there's this female vampire that tried to resurrect herself, and he went to go and stop her, and she was becoming like this vampire of blood.
Nice. There's a cool movie. Which one do you own? Do you own the first one?
I think it's the second one because the first one, I thought that's the one I got. I thought it was the first one, but it was I think it's the later one
Does it
because
have?
it uses a little bit more CGI in it.
I see. I guess because I only know them from when I was clipping werewolf stuff out. Does it have the werewolf guy that has the werewolf mouth like in his stomach? That kind of werewolf monster guy?
No, it doesn't have that guy. But the one I have, he runs into other monster hunters. Like this one guy, I think he's like real sick, and he's able to leave his body, and he could attack monsters and other individuals.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm wondering how many movies there are too. That's one movie when I was clipping, and I think I mentioned it in my all werewolves of movies. In this clip, in one of the first Vampire Hunter D, that if you guys are fans of anime and stuff like that, you gotta check it out because again, I was skimming through it. I didn't watch it, but so many monstrous things, awesome animation with the monsters, but just such cool creations. So it's just for the monster lover, I have to say, Vampire Hunter D. Definitely want to check it out. Well, right on. So, Dande, just quick, how would you review Vampire Hunter D? Good, bad, enjoyable, great? What do you think overall as a movie or series?
I would say enjoyable from my memory because I watched it a long time ago. Haven't seen it in a while.
Cool. Right on. All right. So we got the half vampire, half human, D, Vampire Hunter. Or Monster Hunter, really, I think, right? Depends on where you live. Dande's Slayer. Okay, with that, let's go on to the next person. Illithid Sid. You're there. Good. Depends on... Do you have anything to share for us, Illithid? Dio, are you there? I guess Dio's still gone. Must have been a tiring week for people. Or Fridays with Pro must have been crazy. How you doing out there, Louie? Okay, tell us about it, Sid. By the way, to our viewers out there, we have Dande here today. We have Dio in text. We have Illithid Sid in text. We have JMPF, voice and text. We have Jono in voice. And we have Chris in voice. And we have Louie over on YouTube. Thank you all for joining us today. Remember, anybody's welcome to join in. Just follow the proper kind of podcast etiquette. And you can join us to talk about monsters every Saturday. It's a great hangout here. Nice international, very international hangout for us introverts and weirdos. With honor. All right, so Sid says, mine is more of a concept. The Frog Brothers dedicate their life to hunting vampires. Nice. In the meantime, Sam... made an acquaintance too young. Okay, the Frog Brothers. This is from what movie is it? It's Lost Boys. It is Lost Boys. I was mixing it with the song. Love the song. The Frog Brothers, two comic book nerds that take on vampires. Okay, guys. So I'm hoping Pro's not here. I can't pick on him. I don't know if anybody's even listening to me here. But if you can reply to this question, have you seen the original vampire movie, The Lost Boys?
I saw it a long time ago when I was little. I think my parents were watching it.
Excellent.
I only remember the scene where the guy's eating I think it's the Chinese takeout.
Right.
And it's maggots, and he looks down and it's maggots.
Yeah, you can definitely. That's one of those Donde I think that you can rewatch and you're not gonna feel like, okay, I'm too old for this now. You know, it's one of those I think you can rewatch and it still holds its certain charm. I know Lost Boys has a big fan base around it. Um, the dark nightclub I sometimes go to, they'll even play the Lost Boys song and the cover of it. Great song. Um,
The TV show Psych, I think it's called.
mm-hmm.
There's an episode where the guy's name is Corey,
Yeah,
the actor.
yeah,
He's in there in a vampire bar, and then they start playing the song "Cry Little Sister," I think it's called,
yeah.
as he pops on screen.
Oh, that's cool. But is it like still related to? It's not related to vampires. It just featured him in the episode.
Yeah, it just featured him. I think it was like an Easter egg.
That's cool. That's a cool little shout out. He's quite the character too. In real life, he wrote a book about all the exposing a lot of the pedophiles and stuff in Hollywood. I'm kind of curious about that, looking into that. But he's one of those, I guess, whistleblowers on that behalf. Trying to do his own creative things. It's kind of different. I don't know, but he is known for this movie. Cool movie. If you guys like stuff like the Goonies, right? Yeah, the Goonies, same era, same kind of thing with kids. That's why people love Stranger Things, because you see at those times in the 80s, early 90s, they did stuff with kids right. They did it well. It wasn't cringy. That's why Stranger Things followed the 80s theme. They got it right. Yeah, they got it right too, but they followed old writings and other inspiration. Newer movies and stuff, when they feature kids, it's, I don't know, it's different. They treat them like kids too much, or they try to make them edgy too much. But in the 80s, they just did it natural, and that's what made those movies so fun. I gotta ask you, Sid, since you brought up the Frog Brothers, there is a Lost Boys 2 movie, because I know I clipped it, I didn't watch it. How good is that movie, Sid, or anybody else that's seen it? Especially comparing, well, let's not compare to the original Lost Boys. That's a thing in of itself. But how was the part 2? And Louis, let me know if you've seen it. Today I bring... Cool, I'll share your stuff next, Louis. Thank you, by the way. We got a nice cool down this week. Last week we had a lot of people active, actually, even on YouTube. Today we got kind of a relaxed Monstercast. I have yet to watch it. All right, well, Sid, put it on your list. You're so random, Jono. We're talking about something and then you just put some question. 1911 or Nosferatu? It's not a fair decision yet. I'm going to throw it at Nosferatu for design first, but I'm going to have to rewatch again 1911. I have to finish watching Nosferatu 2 too. With that, looks like Jono wants to talk about his monster slay. By the way, Jono, you are a slayer yourself. How many monsters have you slayed?
I have 821 hours on The Witcher 3.
821 hours on Witcher 3. That sounds fair enough.
Plus 30 hours on both the first and second one.
Wait, that's crazy. You said 800 hours?
Yes.
That's actually a lot. I was thinking, okay, that's regular gamer hours. But then I was thinking that video that I was editing for YouTube, my Witcher gameplay playthrough, that was 14 hours streamed, which was over the course of a few days. And that took, of course, for editing and making a video, that took forever. I still cut it down to like an hour and a half or something, but that was 14 hours of footage. But Jono played 820 hours.
Well, yeah, consider that basically I finished the game like 6 times.
Oh, I see.
200 hours.
So we have to divide it by 6. Sounds like it did like everything.
My truly final one, I started it on December 1st, 2018, and I finished it this late October.
Well, I'm proud of you.
It lasts for
Proud of you, Jono.
500 hours. Well, we all know who was gonna be my favorite Slayer of monsters, of course. I mean, Geralt, because he is,
Cool.
the
Nice
main
segue.
protagonist is Chad, but this could go for all the Witchers. So we can also have Eskel, Vesemir, Letho. So yeah, I you know I gotta go with the Witchers.
Yeah. I love the character. Um, I have to ask you or anybody that knows, who is the most like notable of the Witchers? Like that had the most
That would
kills,
be
like really.
Geralt.
Go ahead, Chris.
I do
Well,
believe that would be Geralt.
okay, it's not specified, but yeah, for sure in the lore of the game, it's implied that Geralt is the most famous one.
Okay. Because I know he's the protagonist and all, but I thought maybe there's another older Witcher that, is really well known
Well,
and kind of a
well,
legend.
Vesemir, for example, is far older than him. He's like 200 years older than Geralt, but um, but
He's
yeah,
not
it's
as
not
okay.
said in the books or games which Witcher had the most kills or who was the most
Which
famous one.
Witcher?
Also, because we have to remember that Witchers are not heroes, neither they basically are famous. They are all mistreated by society. And basically, only witches know other witches.
Let's
Um,
purge the mutants.
and how old is Geralt? Around?
Okay, Sapolsky, or whatever the fuck his name is, never wanted to tell his age. He, it's one of the things that he always wanted to keep a secret, but it's implied that he is like 1 year younger than Yennefer, um, with Yennefer being like 103 years old. So it's implied that he is around 100 years old by the time of The Witcher 3.
Okay.
Oh, that's something that they did not include in the original in the Netflix series because he appears to be a lot older than her in that.
Hmm.
Well, The Witcher, aside from being based on the books, the Witcher series is also in different timelines, and especially sorceresses in the Witcher universe basically um, use magic to change their appearance and look younger and more beautiful. So it would make sense for Geralt, who actually ages, even if slower than a normal human, but still, um, that that's it.
Yeah, and I did just watch the second episode yesterday. I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
It had Yennefer.
You love the song, Arthur, right?
Oh yeah, and that was good.
Mm,
They did a good job on that actually. They made
yeah.
it catchy, and that means it was well done.
Toss a coin to
Sometimes.
your
To your
witcher,
Witcher.
oh valley of plenty.
Oh boy.
That's a good song.
So,
Put
in
it on
that
about the
we had.
same level as the outro music for The Mandalorian.
I
Mm,
still have to watch them. I doubt I will watch The Mandalorian because the only legal way to watch it would be um, Disney Plus. That's not even out yet in Italy.
no.
I
You're
won't give my
giving
money
Disney
to
you're giving
Netflix.
Disney money to watch this. No, go to the deep waters, mate. Don't bother.
Yep. Um. So that one featured Yennefer, and I was confused because I
Yeah.
don't know about the lore enough, and I don't need any spoilers. But that is the
No,
Yennefer that we see in the game, right?
it's the same
It's
character,
supposed to.
but yeah, she is born a hunchback. In the books,
Uh huh.
it's not said that she also has the facial deformity, but
Okay.
it's
Makes
said
sense.
that she was born with a hunchback. Then yeah, she After she becomes a sorceress, she then uses magic to become beautiful.
Okay. So
Which includes getting a tan, apparently.
I just want to confirm then. Just a quick answer of yes or no on this. So when she's presented in the show, the second episode only, don't go beyond that.
Yes.
Is that different timelines then? Is that showing
Yeah,
her?
it's like 30 years before, at least 30 years before the first episode, or I mean the main timeline, which is
Okay,
Geralt's.
got you. So
If
it's
you
30
if you
years.
go on internet, there
Yep,
are a few schemes that basically explain the timeline.
sure. Okay, cool. That's what I was thinking. I just wanted to verify that. And then you guys were talking about the different ages and how people can age. So I was thinking, well, then she could be just young. But okay, that makes sense. Right on. Last question for you, Jono, before we move on. For the people that don't know, what exactly is a Witcher? How are they made? What are
To
they made of?
answer that, how are they made? Well, they are made through not only some serious and deep training that give them wonderful skills in fighting and surviving, etc. They also have to undergo a powerful and yet very dangerous trial, which I mean, basically the whole Witcher training is called they're called trials. The most dangerous and infamous one is the trial of the grasses, where they basically have to undergo through some mutagens that reshuffles their DNA, and through these herbs, their DNA is modified, and they um, receive basically super strength, endurance, slow aging, etc. Geralt
Their
having
magical
white
abilities.
hair is due to excessive amount of these herbs because they noticed that he had very noticeable skills, so they went with further training.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, since um, this trial was very dangerous, and out of 10 children, usually only 3 survived. It's implied in the books that there haven't been new witchers in years, and that's also why the witchers are basically going extinct because there are no new ones.
they need a breed.
Which I do
Oh,
believe is because their fortress of Kaer was
Yeah,
raided and sacked, so they lost
not
all their
I
not
equipment.
see.
only that, but yeah, Kaer was the only um, only Witcher keep left to creating other witches because
Okay.
I mean there's very few lores in the book about other witcher schools. It's much more deep in the video games, but basically they're all breaking down. There are no new witchers, etc. They are all basically going extinct. But
I see.
the most infamous one is the cat school because they all went into training assassins, killing humans. Um, the other schools are basically extinct, like the bear or the griffin, manticore. So yeah,
Okay.
that,
So the creation of his or the change of his eye, is that also due to the same trial or is that something else
yes,
then?
yes, they go
Okay.
their eyes turn amber.
Their hair
I
and their
just
eyes
have
change.
one
Yeah,
question.
the hair is due to more
Mutagen.
excessive trials. For example, the other witches don't have white hair.
I have one specific question and also kind of a point. So, does these trials are they also what gives Witchers their ability to use magic?
The signs? Oh, I don't think so. I don't think it's even specified in the books, but it say that it's lesser magic. It's not the same magic a sorceress can hold.
It's still
It's
magic, though.
yeah. Um I think they go with that with some other trials. I don't think a trial of elements exists, but let me look for that.
Okay.
Uh,
So when they first start out into
which
the witch, the trials and all that, how do they get chosen? Are they regular people that are just found to have some skills? Is it a
well,
bloodline? What is it?
they basically there's this popular rumor that Witcher kidnap children, but that's not true. The basically all Witchers are either orphans or basically um, a Witcher to in order to work has to be paid. When the employee doesn't have the money, they then go with a low surprise, which basically it says, okay, if you don't have the money when you come back home, the first thing you see, then you're going to give me that. Basically, you don't even know what is going to happen. And for example, Siri, um, basically, the whole Siri thing is because Geralt uses the law of surprise um, on Dundee. Dundee, what's his name? No, Duni. So yeah, that's how the Geralt and Ciri bonding is born. So basically, the kids were
Dande.
taken by the Witchers and took into care more. But for example, Geralt was left there by his mother.
Hmm.
See, Dande, now we know where you come from. We know who wrote you into this world. All right. Any questions? I think we've covered that one enough. Let me share on behalf of Louis real quick. Louis said, "Today I bring the Belmonts. In the Belmonts, the family has been hunting the forces of night since the beginning of the Castlevania series. Leon Belmont was the first of the bloodline and therefore remains. Obscure and the most famous one is Simon Belmont. These slayers carry a weapon that carries a sacrificial soul and is infused to a metal whip called the Vampire Killer, and was specifically to destroy all. Evil accursed beings, the Belmonts have been training all their lives. For every 100 years or so, Dracula resurrects and a Belmont warrior will be ready to fight back the night." Cool. That's probably the most Castlevania lore I've ever learned, which isn't much for me or anyone that's into that. But interesting. Belmonts. Cool. So shout out to Castlevania. Any fans here? Anything to share? Questions? Comments about Castlevania and the Belmonts as the
I
Slayer?
want to go deeper into Castlevania, but never had the time or anything. But I'd like to
Mm-hmm.
learn about the universe of Castlevania.
Yeah, it seems pretty cool. I wonder if they have manga or any more. I'm sure they have more writings supporting it. Here's the family tree. Actually, it's quite large. Huh. I'll copy that over to show you guys. So here's one of the family's trees that are visually expressed. You guys have any thoughts on the Belmonts?
Mm, See, normally if I would have been all up for them, but then Netflix did something good and made their a Castlevania anime, and I'm just like Dracula was right, to be honest. I kind of felt sorry for him, despite him wanting to wipe out humanity.
Mm-hmm. I see. I kind of want to see one of the Belmonts fight a Vampire Hunter D. That would be interesting. Actually, I'd like all these Slayers to fight each other. Or at least spar each other. That would be fun. By the way, Elithid said Vesemir has more skill. has more kills. That's what I was thinking since he's older. And Witchers are supposed to be more like monks. When Geralt, you have all kinds of options. I'd hunch that cripple, trial of grasses. Witcher deals with signs, not full blown magic. Okay. Thank you, Sid, for the ad. What is a man? A male human. Miserable. Okay. So thank you, Louis, for sharing that. Louis, have you yourself played a lot of the games? Are you a big fan of the games? Or have you gone outside of the games to learn more about the lore? Let me know, Louis. Seems Chris knows some stuff. Are you a big fan, Chris? Or, well, you said you were more with the games, right?
I'm more of, I haven't really played any of the Castlevania games. My knowledge of Castlevania extends to the Netflix anime
Okay.
and the death battle between Dracula from Castlevania and Ganon.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Well, with that, let's move on to the next Monster Slayer. So the Belmonts, by the way, are regular. Well, they're humans. It seems they're just the family, and that's what they do: hunt down vampires and Dracula every time he respawns. Respawn. Okay. Let's move along then. Thank you, Louis, for sharing. Let me know your thoughts if you're still watching us. And let me see. I have one. Yes, man. Castlevania started as Haunted Castle in the arcades. Hell yeah, man. I played a little bit as when I was a young tyke, Castlevania, but I was too young to be heavy into gaming. But I know my brother did more and stuff like that. So shout out to Castlevania. I don't know about any of the newer ones, how good they are to the old games, but the old games, I mean, that was a thing. I do remember that whip, that Contra, all that stuff. But Castlevania was cool. I remember it a cool theme song, the old game, the side scroller, but I don't remember the song. I have to Google it sometime. Ninja Gaiden was another one, or Gaiden. Cool stuff. The Batman, the old Batman side scroller was good too. So if anybody says you're not a gamer, Arthur, I wouldn't know that stuff if I wouldn't be. Well, I'm more of a board gamer now, so I am a gamer. Play pretty much every day with myself. A board game. Okay, moving on. Let's talk to. We had John O'Share. Chris hasn't yet, but let me see if JMPF has
I am
anything.
ready if you want me to.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead. Chris.
Right, well, since we went through the first big one of the day, namely Mr. Geralt of Rivia, I do believe it is only appropriate that I only believe it's appropriate that I then share the arguably biggest Monster Slayer out there in terms of at least successibility. You could say, namely the gentleman of Polish heritage, as revealed in the latest reboot of his franchise, the Doom Slayer from Doom, the rebooted 2016, which is an exceptionally adorable individual, as you could say, and the biggest part of which is that this is how you do a reboot right, at the end of which your face is just like this, exceptionally happy.
Right.
Now,
Insanely.
yes. Stop watching this, you must fight the forces of hell. Yes, so in this in the reboot, the Doomslayer, we don't yet know where he appeared. We only know that he is a human from Earth, of Polish descent specifically, who ended up in an alternate dimension called Argent Inur, in which he fought alongside the Knights Sentinels against the forces of hell. But during the process of that event, due to the actions of one among the knights, the betrayer, uh, his son died, and Hell convinced him to let them pass, give them the secret locations of how to invade without being decimated. They would resurrect his son, which they did, but they resurrected him as a demon. That aside, though, it was initially theorized that the Doomslayer was in fact this betrayer, but no, that is not the case. It's a separate character, as confirmed within the a cinematic from the latest from Doom Eternal, the up and coming sequel to Doom 2016. The Doomslayer himself specifically is you could say, to quote a kind Aelwar from his video on first material about Doom Eternal, humanity's last Chad, at least in that verse. He simply manifested into hell and started slaughtering demons because he despises them. And he has done so popping in and out throughout time and space. So he has been all in the Dark Ages, possibly in the future, and of course the current timeline where the game takes place. And during that time, he nearly drove the dimension of hell, which can absorb other dimensions into itself, to extinction. This man, so good at his job, man literally too angry to die, brutalized his way through hell until he nearly drove it extinct. And man, it was, you could say that. I'm pretty confident that the Doomslayer would be able to kick Spawn's ass just because too angry to die. The only way he got stopped was when, even and this was before he got his power armor that you see him wearing here. Um, that was he nearly exterminated all of hell without the super powerful suit made by another demon called the Wretch, who defected from hell and kind of tried to help the Doomslayer by making him the suit that is nigh indestructible, or at least so it said. It can withstand the temperature of the sun, as during the Doom 2016 game, the Doomslayer walks into the reactor core of an AI which reaches that temperature, and the suit was completely fine. And to top it all off, the said suit also absorbs the energy from the demons that the Slayer kills and nourishes him, making him more powerful and healing his wounds. So to him, demons literally are walking, breathing health kits.
Nice.
So before he got the suit, he nearly eradicated hell, managed to slay a demon by the name of the Titan, who emerged in Hell's darkest hour, a colossal monster that held the power of all those that had fallen before him, and it still got its ass handed to it, and now it's just a decoration upon the hellscape where
Nice.
the two of them fought. Uh, so you could say that he has a pretty decorated history in his line of work. His in addition to the suit, he also received a blessing from creatures known as the Seraphim, which is rumored to be from heaven, but we're still waiting to see where that thing comes from. Where essentially his soul was his soul to begin with was incorruptible by the energies of hell, because he hates demons way too much, too angry to be corrupted and become a demon himself. And they blessed him with basically infinite stamina and superior strength, so he can get as jacked up as he wants and needs. That's why he's super strong, and he can run at top speed without tiring, like, ever. And it's thanks to these blessings that he's able to carry a wide arsenal of uh, weapons and his armor,
Wait,
and
so
is
how is
still
he?
at full speed.
Why is he able to like heal and be stronger and faster all the time?
The blessing of the Seraphim
Oh,
basically gave him super strength and infinite stamina, say,
damn.
thanks to which he is both faster and is capable of running constantly without ever tiring out. And his suit absorbs the energy from demons that he kills and heals his wounds.
Okay. Um, what was I gonna say?
And it's technically unofficial, but it's a gameplay mechanic, though I would technically count as one of his Chuck Norris powers. The ability to fire firearms without ever having to reload most of them.
Nice.
Since in the Doom games you don't really reload, except for the super shotgun, which is like a buckshot. You
Right.
just pop it open, pop two. Uh, what are those called? The ammo for shotguns. You pop two of
Shells.
those. Yeah, you pop two shells, you blast something, you
Yeah.
take out the empty shells, and that's literally the only thing he reloads. Essentially, everything else he can fire all of his stash of ammo without having to reload ever.
Nice. I love the new game trailer where he's just walking in, and you have his point of view, and he's just walking through the station, and everybody's freaked out by him and impressed and all that. That's pretty awesome, pretty inspiring, pretty motivational little teaser.
It's a great presence. And
Mm-hmm.
as he was rampaging through hell, he was only stopped because at one point, the remaining priests of hell, like people with a lot of magical power, were like, okay, we gotta do something. So they lured him with a large body of corpses that he could munch through, bulldoze over more practically, into a giant temple, so a giant building, which once he was in there, they collapsed the building on top of him and used their magic to transform the rubble around him into a sarcophagus in which they trapped him and
I see.
extracted his suit from him. At which point, they sealed him shut and put the strongest demons around the sarcophagus so no one would ever open it, and did the equivalent of painting danger signs all around the place, going,
Nice.
nope, don't touch this, go away.
He's a demon's
Which is
nightmare.
why when yes, literally, demons look under their bed for this guy. Which is why when the humans from the corporation that went into hell to try and exploit its energy resources, when they found the sarcophagus, that's when they note in their logs that the most powerful demons came at them with the most fervor, trying to stop them from getting it.
Sweet. So when they caught him, when was that? Is that like pre the newest game? Is it at the when did that happen?
It happens literally the rebooted game Doom 2016 starts
Okay.
with you being released from the sarcophagus. So it
Cool.
was before the events of the first game.
I haven't played that one. Okay. I played the last one I played was I forgot it was the reboot, not the oldest ones, right? With the dog and stuff. I know they showed the dog animations, the renders, which was cool. I loved Doom. It was just wild. But I didn't play the next reboot where it was more like the original game, just 3D.
You should.
So is that one better?
Yes. Very much so.
Really?
And
Okay.
Doom Eternal, the sequel to the 2016 reboot, is literally. I have the perfect image to describe it. It is on my desktop. I'm pretty sure I have shared it before, but do correct me if I am wrong. Ah, there it is.
So I thought Doom Eternal would be the 2016 one.
Yes, Doom Eternal is the sequel to the 2016 one.
Oh, really? So there's another one I missed?
Yes,
Yeah.
in 2016 came out the first reboot, and now in March of this year, its sequel, Doom Eternal, will come on. And this image that I just
Oh, you
posted
mean the one
basically
coming up
wraps
is the
that
sequel
game.
to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So I didn't miss yet another one. Okay,
And from
gotcha.
all of the materials that the game developer has released, in terms of the play story, everything about this game, this image describes it perfectly.
Yes. All right. Cool. I shared that. Two quick questions, just fun questions, Chris. Don't have to go in depth. Just tell me your strong opinion on it. Doomslayer versus the Halo guy, and
Oh,
if
Doom
so,
you mean
how much of overkill would it be?
Oh, John Spartan stands no chance. Like, even the old Doom guy from the old games, Death Battle did a fight again between him and Master Chief. It was so heavily rigged in Master Chief's server.
Uh-huh.
He has literally no chance. The Doomslayer would rip him apart.
Okay.
To be fair, the two of them would most likely become friends and start killing things together.
Right.
But if they were to fight, John Spartan has no chance against him. The Doomslayer has got to be the one augmented human fighter that would even give Warhammer 40k Space Marines a run for their money.
That was my next question. So how would he fare against a basic, there is no basic, but you know what I mean, Space Marine?
Well, let me put it like this. The Space Marines from Warhammer 40k get into these boarding torpedoes, essentially housing units that are shot out of ships as projectiles. And in Doom Eternal, from one of the cutscenes we saw, the Doomslayer himself shot himself out as a projectile from a gun.
So basically, they're It would be a good comparison, right?
Is a one-on-one the Doomslayer would win,
Okay.
practically without a doubt. See, if you increase the numbers of
Sure.
Space Marines, that way you can. It begins to tilt more in their favor. But in strictly one-to-one, he is something that has surpassed the Emperor's work. And as of the Doom Eternal, from what we're able to see, Heaven don't appear to be too happy with him and humanity. So soon, it's likely that Hell will not be the only thing feeling his wrath.
Oh boy. Interesting.
From the latest story trailer for Doom Eternal, in one section you have this angel lady going like, "For millennia we have survived, making others sacrifice for our benefit." And one, "Who are you, a human, to defy our traditions?" And as a quote-unquote response, the very next frame is him loading a shotgun with malicious intent.
Nice. So you'd say with like 2 Space Marines, then it'd be a gamble.
I'd say 5 Space Marines enough.
5.
It would be a
So
gamble.
he'd be equivalent of one of those Space Marine like lords, right? Those captains or whatever they are.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and I managed to
Tyrannic.
find the thing that I was referencing. Launch without sound. There's really comprehending, but if you want to, you can observe how man literally just shoots himself out of a cannon as a projectile.
Cool.
Not even 40k Space Marines are this metal.
Right. They might have more metal among them, but they're not more metal.
I wonder if John Ogram is that metal.
So that would be a cool crossover with Halo. I'm sure people would love to see that. They could do that. It'd be, of course, it's down to the politics and all that, but yeah, the Halo guy and Doom like working together like a collab. I remember there was a Halo movie coming out and that got canceled or something. I don't know what happened with that.
Well, usually movies based on video games are always bad.
Yeah, that South African company should take over that project or make a Doom game. They're doing awesome CGI stuff. Or whatever that company is.
Don't do a Doom game. Id Software is doing just.
Yeah. That's the
But-
cool thing with Doom. They're not
Chris,
ruining
what do you
themselves.
think of
hmm
Sorry, Chris, what do you think of the Doom movie with The Rock?
Oh, crap.
We don't speak about that.
I haven't seen it.
Like, this is the first movie I've ever seen that misuses The Rock.
Right. How do you do that?
Yeah.
Which is more surprising, the movie has the 3 whole.
To be honest, he would be the
R-rating.
perfect Doomslayer.
Yeah, because you have R rating, you have raw, raw like terror, and you have The Rock, the 3 R's. How do you fuck up that?
Right.
It's amazing.
Did they even have like cool demons in that movie? I don't.
No, it was basically zombies.
Oh goodness, it's really bad. Okay.
Yeah, the lab itself that was run over by the zombies. It was a metaphor that they were like in.
Disgusting. Okay. Jono, I had a question to you when you were talking about Witcher real quick. Did you watch the original Witcher series, the old one, the Polish one?
No.
You didn't? Okay.
I only watched a few scenes.
I see. Okay, I was just wondering about the lore, how they got it in that one.
I don't know, but I read that it's not that good.
Yeah, well, it's very low budget. I think the actor was fine. I think just, yeah, production. Alrighty. So I guess you saw it translated then. Is it translated on YouTube?
I don't know. I don't think it's even in English.
Right. It's not. It's in Polish, so I was wondering how you watched it. Did you watch it with subtitles? I guess so. Okay. Let's move along then. Shout out to Doomslayer. There he was. Pretty badass. Let's see. Last bit. Cool. And JMPF left us, so I'm going to share on behalf of JMPF. Right on, JMPF. I don't know much about these Spanish, well, more so Mexican wrestlers. What are they called? Metadors? Not Metador. Something to door. Louis, help me out here.
Luchadors.
Luchadores.
Say again?
Luchadores, I believe.
Luchador. Is that what you said, Donde? Luchador.
Yeah,
there we
luchador.
go. Yeah.
Luchadores.
With the L. Yeah, I don't know much, but that's like a big thing there. I know they were, Santo was a recurring character in my werewolf clips, and he battled a lot of werewolves. It's really not cringy. What's the word?
Goofy.
Goofy. I had another word on the tip of my tongue, and I lost it. But
B movie stuff.
say again.
B movie.
Yeah, well, definitely that. I don't want to say silly, just that's anyway. It's that concept, and you have Luchador. I love what Jack Black did with the Luchador movie. I really enjoy that movie with Jack Black. Now the title escapes me. What's that, Jono?
Yes. I really like Jack Black. He's a very fine actor. I mean, we're not
He's
talking
a gift to
about
humanity.
not talking about the best actor in the world, but I really
Right.
I love his way of acting, and I love his music. Tenacious D
Right.
used to be one of my favorite bands a few years ago.
Yeah. No, he's enjoyable. He's natural. He's not conceited. And he still follows his passion, which is definitely great to see. What is that movie? It's the Mexican. There we go. Nacho Libre. Actually, I love Nacho Libre. It's very much that Napoleon Dynamite, if you guys are a fan of that. But it has the whole feel to it. The music, the camera filter. I love it. I love when one of the church guys says he had diarrhea since Easter's. Excellent. So anyway, he was becoming a luchador in that movie. So yeah, these wrestler stars are quite the thing there, and were and still are, I think, and a big part of the culture. And thanks, Louis. So let's explore that a little bit. JMPF says, I have to go. Here's my Slayer. And thank you, JMPF, for mentioning this one. Sometimes a wrestler and sometimes a detective. That's what's awesome about this. And he always wears his mask. The word was corny. It's corny, but it's so fun. So corny is like, if you guys don't know the meaning of corny, how can you really explain corny? It's not silly. It's like,
I don't think it is. You just use it. I actually can't think of a true meaning. I mean, I know what it means, but I think a way to explain it. No.
And it's not totally corny. That's like putting it down, because this whole thing is cool, Corny is like not even cool.
Sort of thing.
What's that, Dande?
Over the top.
Yeah, a little bit. Exaggerated in some
like-
ways.
Goofy. I think.
Yeah,
probably the
Goofy's
closest
kinda
thing
the
goes is
closest.
Goofy.
Yeah. So, like, it's supposed to be cool, but it's really not. It's not cringy. It's just a little, like, it takes itself too seriously sometimes. All kinds of stuff. Anyway, I wonder what, in your language, is the word corny. That's a hard one to translate, I bet, into many languages. But let's go on. Sometimes a wrestler, sometimes a detective. El Santo has faced against anything from criminals to mad scientists to even ghosts and demons, and even went to the land of the dead to rescue a lady's soul. There has been no enemy, earthly, extraterrestrial, or even supernatural, he hasn't fought using his fists and detective skills. There you have it, Chris. Take that with the Doomslayer. That's what I love about him, is he's like a wrestler, but he's like the Doomslayer in power. It's just with the lower production movies and stuff. But yeah, Santo. I believe the actor, when he died, he never revealed his face even in public. And I think he even wanted to be placed in the coffin or something with the mask over his face. Now that is That's a true luchador. Uh,
Hell yeah.
if you know more details about that, Louis, let me know. But I heard that about him, and that's pretty awesome. That's a pretty epic human. He's so into his character. His
Yeah,
yeah.
I think for the tradition for the masked wrestlers was to always go around with the masks and never let your face be seen.
Hmm.
And he would go to and fro to the wrestling rings with his mask on.
Nice.
I think like in one last interview before he passed away, he finally revealed his face,
Oh,
and then they
damn.
decided to bury him with the mask on
Okay.
because they didn't want to. He was like real big.
Yeah, dishonor that. So I wonder if that interview is like viral, if people see it, or if they kind of deleted it about to hide his true face. But yeah, thanks for that, Donde. That makes sense now. Go ahead.
He also had a rival, I think, in real life, where they actually didn't like each other, who was also another masked wrestler. His name was Blue Demon. They didn't really like each other that much.
Oh, they
I
didn't.
think they did one movie together, and that was it.
Right.
Well, one fights monsters, the other is a demon. Of course, they wouldn't like each
Yeah,
other.
makes sense. Right, because there's that movie El Santo and Blue Demon and something. So yeah, maybe they made one collab. I didn't know they were actual enemies. Interesting. But yeah, they do have that one movie, at least one that we know of. So that makes sense because in Nacho Libre, when Jack Black's becoming, the luchador, there's this famous one, and he always walks around with a mask on, and I thought it's, kind of funny. But that's the actual tradition to it, is hiding that face. And that's pretty cool. I wish more themes like that were present in the entertainment business because, well, on YouTube you can do whatever you want. I even thought about changing my appearance somehow so that people don't recognize me in public. But we don't have that commonly in with bigger entertainers, actors, and stuff. So of course their life sucks from that angle. Sometimes they love it, but sometimes they really don't like it. It's just nice to be famous, rich like that, or whatever, but still have a way to hide your appearance and still have a way to appear in public and not be seen. That's what I kind of like with YouTube fame, is you can get famous enough to have a meet and greet, a big one, and a great time with fans, yet you can still go to the grocery store and nobody will recognize you. It's like the perfect level of fame. So yeah, cool. Well, thank you for the info.
This might be a little
Go ahead.
topic, but it kind of reminded me of Santos. But how like they keep the masks and stay in character.
Mm-hmm.
But this reminded me of a story that I read where Hulk Hogan was who their main gimmick was the Wild Samoans, so they act like wild people, and he got pulled over, and I guess he had a gun on him and he didn't have the license to carry it from state to state. So when he was trying to argue with the police that he didn't know and asked them for help, they just acted like in character, grunting and doing stuff because they didn't want to break out of character. So they kept acting wild because they felt it was worth going to jail for something small like that than to break out of their character.
That's awesome. Awesome. Louis said Santo and Blue Demon are some old Mexican monster slayers, crime fighters based on the old comic books. So they're actually based on comic books. Cool. The movies from the time weren't that bad. It was like the old Batman style movie. Right, yeah. And they weren't. It's just the whole concept of it, this wrestler, but and the look of it, But it wasn't that bad or anything. And it's cool. It's a cool cultural thing. I definitely appreciate it. Have you come about knowing so much about this Donde, if I may ask?
When I used to stay up watching the horror movies like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, they would show them a lot. Sometimes on, I think the Spanish channel over here is Telemundo, and they would play Santos before it. I think like when he fought vampires and
Yeah, yeah.
he spread his arms out and he had like a cape and he made himself into a cross on the ground just to scare them away.
Ah, cool.
Creative.
Yeah. Yeah, and I still show that on Telemundo, I believe, a lot. Um, there are so many of the movies. I mean, yeah, like Louis said, it's like the Batman, you know. Cool. I wonder if there's a collab, since there's so many like crossover comics, you know. I wonder if there was ever a crossover with Batman and Santo. I'm guessing it's very possible. Be something cool to look into. They both seem to have a dark side, even too, you know. And they're both smart. One's a detective, so sweet. Illithid said, oh, honorable mention at the end. Well, it's not the end yet, but I'll take it. Constantine. Yep. I enjoyed the Constantine movie. All right, let's move along.
No,
Chris. Oh, let me see Chris's video here where he launches himself. Speed it up a little. There we go. There's the Doomslayer walking around. Oh, this is game footage. No copyright. It's so silly how game footage and game music is not copyright, but everything movie is. So if you're making YouTube videos, just take awesome music from games because it's not copyright. Unless it's Nintendo or something, right?
Nintendo can be kind of dumb.
But that is something that people I noticed don't take advantage of. It's just music from video games and scenes. It's copyright free so far. Let's hope they keep it that way. By the way, how's Europe doing with that whole copyright nonsense? I knew it wouldn't be that serious. Is it pretty bad, or how is it?
No,
It
nothing.
passed successfully, so it is. Basically, we're waiting to. The member states have to.
Nice.
Whatchamacallit, apply the laws fitting it by 2021, I believe.
Oh, I see.
So that's
So
dumb.
it's not completely in session.
Not yet. And
We'll
sadly,
see.
it'll take about 10 years for the EU to fucking shatter rather
Yeah.
than one, which is exceptionally sad.
Well, you know, with with a lot of things, people always exaggerate and they jump into the doom. Oh, this is gonna destroy that, especially the younger folk. But this is usually how things turn out. If
No,
it's
this
something
is,
big, it's not
this
gonna
is
be
this,
instant
quite
usually.
sinister what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because at first, yeah, no one's gonna do anything about it. People think, oh, nothing will happen, and then when people are already, how to put it, they feel safe, and that's when they actually drop it, because no one will expect it. It's an insidious piece of shit. Politicians in general are insidious pieces of shit.
Well, yeah, most are. The notable ones, at least. It's hard going into that if you are a good person. Let's just keep it at that. Or even being a lawyer. Which, in a sense, nah, that's not a politician. Oh, I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. Thank you, guys. Let's go. That was JMPF. Don Day already. Darth is here. Let's have Darth share if he wants to. And then I have something from Raincrawler. And then we should be caught up and done. So, Darth, do you have anything to share for us? A monster slayer, if you can hear me. And yeah, when you were talking about the Doom Slayer, there, Chris, I was thinking that's basically like the Conan of the future. Just his anger, his sheer power, his delight for destroying. That's very Conan, you know. And I was thinking, you know what? It's all these Polish people or Polish inspired that are slayers. And I'm like, what am I doing here? Because I'm not a monster slayer. I'm a monster creator. I'm going against the whole Polish thing. Because Geralt is a Polish creation. Doomslayer is a Polak. So Geralt might be Polish.
He is.
He is. And then here's me, and what am I doing with my life?
You're providing us with entertainment.
I'm providing the monsters from my fellow Polish comrades to destroy, I guess.
Heck yeah.
But I will destroy some still. That's why we have this ranks. All right. So, huzzah to the Polish, I guess, for, I don't know, just monsters and stuff and slaying. I don't know why that's come up not that much, but for a small country, yeah, that's interesting. All right, next MC, ballsiest monster. Interesting, Sid. That's a good one. Darth has nothing. He didn't find anything in the SCPs for us today. Thanks, Darth, for coming in, though.
What do you mean, Darth? Lord Blackwood.
Ooh,
Tell us about Lord Blackwood.
nice. Chris caught him out. How about that, Darth? Lord Blackwood, and know anything about him? He's working on it. All right.
All right.
We'll give him
I've
a
given
moment.
him the idea. That's the important part.
That's right. That is an important role. Really don't. Yes, Rita, I agree. And thank you for jumping in here in the Monstercast. Louis said, do a shout out to Dante from Devil May Cry and Leon from Resident Evil. They are also monster slayers, but they might be too famous and not obscure. Indeed. Sure. We have Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Dante. I have to shout out, what's his name? Is it Arthur? No, it's Clark, right? From the Necromorph games.
Oh, Isaac.
Isaac, what are the games?
Isaac.
Damn it.
Dead Space.
Dead Space.
Dead
So
Space.
yeah, we got to shout him out. I think he's more equal to the Halo guy than Doomslayer.
Master Chief.
Yeah, Master Chief. Who else we got out there? Conan got a nice shout out at the beginning. He definitely was my growing up monster slayer. Merlin from Some Things. Not really though. Yeah, Conan for me. I enjoy the whole concept. I guess since I'm not sharing today, I'll babble a little more about Conan because he's very much that like Doomslayer. I wrote one novel. I haven't published it yet. I'm considering rereading, re-editing, and maybe publishing it in the future. But for another novel, I was thinking of just for a writer, it would just be fun to write a novel on a character such as like a Conan or Doomslayer, just someone so powerful, simple. Because me personally, I love like magic workers and all this complexity. But I love the idea of the simple warrior, not wearing too much armor, just rage-filled, like a Hulk, and just
Man too
bashing
angry
through
to
things
die.
in a whole novel. What's that, Chris?
Man too angry to die.
Yes, exactly. He's so pissed off that he can't die. It's enough to fuel him prolonged periods. I just thought it would be I think it would be fun to read, but as a writer, it'd be such a loose thing to write. You write all these stories or novels or whatever. I'm not talking about myself now, just in general as a writer, and these complex characters, but just take it easy one time, fill up a novel with this crazy guy that's unstoppable. It's hard to
like
deal
Adrian
with.
La Serie
It's
Event.
gotta be fun. What's that, John?
Like Adrian La Serie Event.
Who's that? Oh, from your anime?
It's not an anime. It's a TV series.
Oh, okay. So, that'd be cool. And if you look at Conan-inspired art and the covers, there's one. I only own one book that I had from a long time ago. I don't even remember how I got it with Conan on it. And he's so muscle bound. He's so muscular. He's like the biggest of the biggest bodybuilders now, but beyond that, because he has the sheer power behind it too, just aggression and force that you don't see in normal humans, And he's like that on the cover. So he's like Arnold, but times 2. And it's just so like, it's just brute. It's so inspiring and just awesome, that cover. And Arnold had that, but Arnold was still Arnold. He was still human. He wasn't like intense and crazy like he's on the book covers. But of course, in the books, he's more human. So Arnold still played him off well. But I just love that idea of that sheer force. And it's cool to see that Doomslayer, I think out of all of them today, has that most akin to Conan. Probably maybe even more insane because Conan can still save women and have sex with women. I don't know. Sorry for adult stuff if I jumped in. Not too much though. But I don't think Doomslayer would be capable of that at this level of its mentality to be able to not even have a relationship, but to have a intimate relationship with women. I don't think he could pull it off. He'd probably screw it up somehow. No pun
Or are we
intended.
talking about Doomslayer's sexual life?
Yes.
His sexual life involves murdering the tits out of deep.
There. So that's what I figured. So I think he's even more insane than Conan. I just think Conan
Not
maybe.
insane. Actually, he's quite a level-headed chap. He's able to
Oh, really?
make decisions.
Okay.
And he still has a good moral code. He just he's gonna rip and tear until it is done.
I mean, he is blessed after all.
And since hell still exists, it ain't done, so can't do anything else in the meantime.
Sid. Cover the ears. So yeah. Anyway, that's fun. And that's what makes the werewolf so fun too. Again, that you can let yourself go into this crazy, rage, go berserk, the whole berserk mentality. That's why Venom's so fun. One board game I'm considering making, if I do get into that, would be, I haven't told anybody, well, it probably won't happen, but a werewolf game, a cool board game werewolf game. I haven't seen one, and to be a werewolf in a game, or even a board game, I want to feel that bruteness, everything that comes with it, the speed, the power. I'd love to make one, and it's this reason.
A vampire game already exists, and Z has managed to make essentially a necron that works very well. So I'm
Sweet.
certain you'll be able to pull off a werewolf game.
I wonder. I want to get into Tyranids more. I'd love to more in a few. I just wonder who wouldn't. Tyranids are different because they're more balanced in the nature kind of way. So it's hard to say, oh, there's this one Tyranid or Tyranid that is really, brute. I mean, there's big ones, small ones, fast ones, slow ones, but nothing like where their characters and expressed, right? Because
They do have some characters.
Mhm.
Well, I'm pretty sure what you're thinking of would be Old One Eye,
right, that's the big
which
ones.
is a Carnifex
Yeah,
that is basically independent from the greater whole of the Tyranid swarm, and
he's
he's
awesome.
a big buff boy. He's a chonk.
Yeah. Old One Eye rocks. I wonder if there's been a remake of him. I haven't seen it. Damn, I'll have to look that up. I like his old model. I like the old goofy Carnifex models, with the big claws. Now they look more similar to the other Tyranids. But I know there's also a Gene Stealer, because there's that whole Gene Stealer cult. I don't know much about it. But there's the whole Gene Stealer that's like a bigger Gene Stealer. He looks pretty kind of brute.
That would
Looks
be
like
the
a.
Patriarch.
Mhm.
Basically, when a Gene Stealer infiltrates a place and starts infecting people to create the Gene Stealer hybrids, which infiltrate society and whatnot, that Gene Stealer, in order to exert better control over his newly created brood, he evolves into a Gene Stealer Patriarch, which basically increases its synaptic capability, making it a more powerful psyker, and also making it bigger and stronger. Hello?
Yeah, sorry, I was replying to Louis. So what made him bigger and stronger?
When he establishes a lair with new, when he manages to infect creatures and they produce Gene Stealer hybrid offspring, in order to better control the further ever expanding brood, he evolves into a normal Gene Stealer evolves into a Gene Stealer Patriarch, which
Sweet.
makes more psychically potent, a more powerful psyker, and also bigger and stronger.
Nice. I gotta say to you guys out there you always hear about Warhammer, I just have to just shout out, and I'm sorry because we're going too long on this Tyrannid thing and other stuff. I gotta shout out Gene Stealers. Just what a cool concept creation by Warhammer, because there's a lot of bug-looking Tyrannids and stuff, and there's a lot of other stuff similar, but Gene Stealers are pretty unique and just a cool creation. I just want to shout them out. Shout out to Space Hulk, old game. That's where I first saw Gene Stealers. How do you, quick thoughts, Chris? How do you, I just need more padding on my Gene Stealer. How do you feel about Stealers?
Lictors are better.
Oh, yeah. I love Lictors. But that's the Mantis. Come on.
Like Cthulhu assassin bugs.
Yeah.
That can also do camouflage.
How can you
Sorry,
not like
Gene
Tyranids?
Stealers,
Come on, people.
I can.
Damn, I might have to do a video on a Lictor, just how much I like it. Not even an all-about video, just praising it for 10 minutes. Because you put it right there, Chris. Anyway, okay, let's move on. And yeah, there used to be an old, as far as Monster Slayers, there was an old comic series. I don't think it was Conan. I had him when I was still in South Africa. My brother had him. It was a black-haired warrior, barbarian kind of thing, but I don't think it was Conan. He looked even kind
You
of
have a brother, Arthur?
Native American. What's that, John?
You have a brother?
Yes, I do. Not related. I mean, to our chat, but yeah, I forgot. If anybody knows of an older comic series like that, I'd love to know the name of it. Anyways, shout out to Kroll too. There's Kroll and Kroll or Cole the Conqueror, played by Hercules actor. That was another movie. Scorpion King, another Monster Slayer. I'd shout out Obelix and Asterix and Obelix because they kick ass, but they don't really slay monsters other than the human ones. Chris knows what's up with that.
Yeah, they don't slay. They don't do any slaying at all, really. And despite what many Romans are not monsters.
Yeah. And yeah, maybe not slaying. They do just do a lot of ass kicking.
They may not be monsters, but they're still Italian. That's worse.
Italians are dope, and they have good cuisine. Shut your face.
Well, Jono is Italian, so if you didn't know. Dio is here. He wasn't sleeping. He might be now. So we're going to jump onto Dio's and we're going to do our vote and finish this Monstercast up. It's becoming common for us to go a strong 2 hours now. What happened to that hour and a half? Maybe I'm too talkative. But lately we've been hitting 2 hours easy.
Lumbago's killing you.
Love you guys.
We're just waiting for you to kick the bucket.
To do? To do what? To die? Did you say hit the bucket?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And that is not true.
I love hearing that from you, Jono. Can you say that in Italian, please? Hit the bucket.
Okay, there's no translation for kicking the bucket, so
Right.
aspettiamo che schiatti.
Beautiful. All right. You just want to see me undead and doing this.
The bell rather than the bucket.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What is the saying?
Daritnish kambanata, to kick the bell.
To kick the bell. Let me see if that's in Polish too. I'm sure there is in Polish. I just don't know it since I haven't been listening to local Polish, and slang for years. But I'm sure there's an old one. I'd have to ask my parents. Okay, Dio says, Ichigo Kurosaki is the main protagonist of Bleach. Once again we hear of Bleach. He was a normal boy, but until a girl called Rukia Kochiki randomly shows up in his room and gives him Soul Reaper powers. He's getting new clothes and big sword. Later he changes and gets power-ups, which he kills hollows with. Whatever hollows are. Hollows, he goes on. Hollows are creatures which are born from human souls, who didn't go to soul society and ended up being corrupted. The soul society is basically the place where all the other soul reapers are. And later on, Ichigo starts to fight more human-like hollows called Arankars, which are much stronger. Okay, let me look this over. Too many blanks there.
The reason the anime Bleach is named Bleach is because that's what you want to drink.
I thought it's because of all the white. Why is it called bleach?
I just said so.
Well, that's your answer. My answer is because there's so much white in their skin. Actually, I might be right. I was kidding, but that might be a reason. He's getting a new... okay, so he's a normal boy until a girl randomly shows up in Soul Reaper.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, that beginning sounds kind of shallow. It doesn't sound too deep or good. A random girl or a girl shows up and gives some powers. It sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon kind of deal. Later it changes, gets power-ups. I like how you presented this, Dio. I'll give you a watermelon for that, if you're there. Dio gets a watermelon because of how you presented this. You gave me a nice little summary, but in the summary you explained what everything is, step by step, very simple, concise. Thank you. He's getting... So what is he himself? He's just a
bit of everything.
Human with Soul Reaper powers. Okay. There's Tommy Wiseau.
Basically, he is revealed later in the series that he basically part every type of creature that is revealed in the series.
Okay.
So his mom's a slut.
I was playing Bleach, so that's why Dante was busy. These are the hollows. Cool. Well, they look cool.
Because his entire life was allegedly engineered by the final villain of the whole thing, his mom was engineered to be a slut. She's not to be at fault.
The Arankars look kind of too boring compared to the hollows, although they're supposed to be more powerful. I guess in the mystical sense, I could see that. Also going to mention the Goblin Slayer. He kills goblins, and that's cool.
Yep.
Goblin Slayer from where?
From Goblin Slayer.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that. Okay. I remember watching an anime series. I started it. Maybe I watched one season. It was called Slayer or Slayers.
Oh, Slayers. Yes, that's oldie. I used to watch it on AXN Sci-Fi while the channel still existed on TV.
Do you like it?
It was pretty dope.
Okay.
Found it interesting.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Louis said, I'm a researcher and post the results on Facebook. WOM. Bleach is a name that was given to get attention like My Hero Academia. Thank you, Louis. And yeah, if you can let me know, I could probably find it out if I remember to Google the guy. There's a couple of things I need to Google. I already forgot one thing I told you guys to remind me to Google after I'm done. Googly Google. All right. Let's vote on the next one. Sid brought up a vote. The ballsiest monster or bravest.
Also, since we're talking Monster Slayers, I'm kind of surprised no one met him, so I will. Hellboy.
Hellboy, of course. Yeah, we even talked about him last time that he'd be possible. I think all of them were human today for the most part. At least half or more were humans. So actually none of them were non-human today. So
Geralt, witches are not humans.
So Hellboy,
They're
shout out to him.
mutant spawn.
Wait, witchers aren't human? What?
Nope.
No, they're mutants. They're mutants.
They're filthy
Like-
mutant spawn that taint the great gene pool of humanity and
What?
stray us further
Take
from
it easy,
the
Chris.
Emperor.
No,
And I say
they're not
that
humans.
because I find it rather amusing how closely to Warhammer 40k Space Marines Witchers technically are, when they are made into super powerful, kind of human but not really human things.
That's the Monster
thanks
Slayer.
to implants and drugs. And you can no longer make them because their fortress monastery was raided and they lost all of their gene seed banks, essentially.
Goodness. Well, I asked you, Jono. That's why I was asking you how witchers become a witcher. Like, what are they? And you just told me about the training, but you didn't tell me about...
They're
Okay.
mutants.
He
They-
did say about their mutations and how they get
the mutants. Okay, I can't
juiced
hear.
up.
Wait, so how
In
are
the
they
Witcher,
born
in
then?
the Witcher lore,
Yes.
witches or sorceresses are not human. They're not considered humans by
Oh.
others. They're not. Geralt himself doesn't consider himself a human. He
So
knows he's a freak.
so they're like another race, or
No,
I
they're
guess.
not a race, but they're not even humans.
Okay. So how are they born? Like,
No, no, they are
They
born
are
human,
created.
but a witcher, a, a witcher is a mutant. But I mean, how to explain? The witchers
It's
are naturally
manually made.
born through, you know, like we are born through. How do you? The fuck do you say parto in English?
They're
Parto.
born like humans because they begin as humans,
okay.
but
They are
then
born
in one
through
way,
childbirth, but
Do they become
the
like
Witcher
tainted?
it's the Witcher itself is a mutant because it has to go through mutations.
Okay. And are these mutations
essentially the
then
same way as a
natural?
space marine is made, where it's born like a normal human,
Yeah.
and then the witchers, or to make the comparison to 40k, the chapter of space marines that is interested, takes the child in one way or another, depending on circumstance, and brings it back to their fortress monastery, or in this case, the fortress of the Witchers, Kaer or any of the other Witcher schools, where they train them and also juice
Okay.
them up with augmentations. In the case of Space Marines, that would be Gene Seed or and combat drugs and other types of
Okay.
enhancements. Whilst in the case of Witchers, it's magical drugs.
So it's like episode 2 of Witcher with Yennefer, right? Somewhat.
Uh,
Because she got taken too and all that stuff. So it's similar, right?
uh, there's a more specialized.
Right, right. The
Some
Witcher
people
just
say
goes through more modifications and stuff. It's a different type. But okay, so the Witcher is a born kid, a born human. But then how are they chosen? Do they see that this kid has some special
I
skill?
no
now.
no no. No, I
It,
told you, Arthur. They are basically took. Um, because for example, Geralt was left in front of Kaer by her mother. But for example, Lambert was the subject of the law of surprise. Basically, a witcher comes to your home or saves you, and since they require payment, being it money or anything else, the law of surprise comes in, where basically you say, okay, bring me the first thing you see home that you wouldn't expect. So basically, children. But it can be anything. Like if I tell you, then you would like turn around and you'd have to give me Zal.
Yeah, that's what I didn't hear too well when you were talking about.
mhm.
Um, and I didn't understand it too well here. So, maybe I'll ask you later or something. Dande's leaving. See ya, Dande. Talk to you later. Thanks again for
So,
everything.
what are our options for next Monstercast?
I'll talk to you later. Okay. Okay, let's wrap this up. By the way, guys, so today, if you started late or whatever, we talked about uh, Monster Slayers today. We had Vampire Hunter D. We had Frog Brothers. We have Geralt from Witcher. We had Doom Slayer. From Doom, we had the Luchador El Santo. We had this one from Dio, Ichigo Kurosaki from Bleach. And we had a lot of shout outs for other Monster Slayers. I talked a lot about Conan as well. Now we're going to vote for the next Monstercast topic. So I'll write them out. If you have any ideas, let me know now.
Mm, hmm. No, I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Bye, Dande.
Okay. I need one more, maybe. Stinkiest. That's a good one. Maybe I'll take that. Or I was thinking about another one since I already took that one from you, Sid.
Alright, let's see.
All right, folks. Here you have them all. Please make your votes.
No, Arthur, you missed one.
I don't think so. It's the third one, I think.
Okay, head monsters. Right.
All right, everybody. So they are bravest monsters, albino monsters, ham monsters, great layer monsters. By great layer, I mean like monsters that always have a. They just make a great layer amount. When you're in their layer, you're in the layer of the Medusa, or you're in the layer of blah blah blah. So great layer monsters, and then the stinkiest monsters. Let's see what you guys vote for. Gonna vote for.
It's
John.
only Pro. No, Pro said that he would have voted for John Alden Monsters.
Let's see. Louis says albino. I'm gonna go with albino. I think that's a very curious one. Final
I'm
test.
gonna say layer monsters.
And thank you, Rita, for that info. You said great layers. Okay. Great layer monsters. Or layer monsters. Yeah, that's could be fun. Oh, I forgot to mention something that me and Pro talked about. I think Jono too. After last Monstercast, he was just saying that instead of like naming off monsters, we should go back to talking like in depth about that monster. What would it be like to see it in real life? I forgot to mention that, but we used to do that, it seems, more at the first Monstercast. Now we just name off monsters. But just keep that in mind, like...
I'm pretty sure we had in real life.
Yeah.
Right, what if they were? I mean, that was a monster cast. But I'm saying, like, in our monster casts, we should, like, explore more just that monster and what it would be like, just kind of putting you in the presence of it. Instead of just talking about its lore, naming off, statistics about it. Instead, it's hard to explain, I guess. Just how we present the monsters. Maybe in a different way. Instead of, again, just listing things off, just saying, imagine this, just kind of exploring it more. Yeah, I'll try to remember to mention this, and maybe Pro will be around. We'll see what we can do with that. And because we are just making listing pretty much monster casts with details. But it might depend on the topic to at hand. So whatever. Just a side note for now. Lilith says bravest. Darth says albino. That's 3 for albino. Creepiest is not 1. See ya, Darth. Too late. Looks like it's albino. I don't see Jono voting for anything relevant. I don't see Dio voting for anything. So looks like 3 for albino, 4 for albino. Thank you, Rita, for voting. We're going to talk about frickin' albino monsters. So how do we search them up? It's not going to be white monsters. Okay? So don't just look for bleach or white monsters. That's not albino. Our topic is going to be...
Talk about Hitler.
Yes. Our topic will be just monsters that there's a race, and they're always... And you don't have to have a whole lore about it. For example, a quick example, we might see it next week again. Somebody might talk about it. Maybe not. There's an albino xenomorph. We know xenomorphs as usually being black. But there's an albino one.
You mean how are they called? Neomorphs?
No, not in the movie. There's a toy. And that's sometimes all we need to have. And that's why I like talking in depth about monsters nobody knows about. Because we get to make our own assumptions about it and lores. And that's maybe a little bit what Pro was talking about too. Man, Pro, I'm giving you a shout out. You owe me. But like the albino xenomorph, there's only a toy of it. I don't think there's much lore, and that's great. I love that because that's something we can actually explore and put our own input into ourselves. So that's like one of a kind. And if you don't know what albino is, it's when a creature is born with less melanin, in their biology.
You don't accept John Hogan Moses as a category.
So let me
Few people
continue
voted
with
for it.
out that interruption.
And Chris haven't still voted.
In humanity, we have albinos. All those
I
white
voted for
mice,
the layer.
all those white mice you see at the store, are albinos because they've been bred by albino parents. Because people just think white mice are cute, but actually, white mice are very rare in nature, as are all albinos. They're not the rarest. There's more rare forms, but they're rare. In humanity, they're quite rare too. Yes, Chris?
I was about to say, being exceptionally pale and light reflective makes for harder survival. But yeah, there's actually albino people as well, including in
Yes.
Africa, and it's kind of sad because in some African countries where the old mystical ways are still about, it is said that if you have a talisman made out of the chopped up body parts of an albino person, it brings good luck.
Damn.
So yeah.
All right, Monster Slayers, let's go. I want that.
Yeah, there's also this other rumor where bald people are bald because they have golden treasure inside their heads, which has led to an uncomfortable amount of people
Nice.
in Africa getting murdered and their skulls split open by idiots who believe that nonsense.
Crazy stuff. Imagine that. My goodness. Talking about witches getting burned. Think about how these people have suffered for even like sillier stuff.
When someone says all cultures are beautiful, no.
All
Some
right.
cultures are definitely superior to others in
Hmm.
that they don't randomly kill people just because.
Should be CO of not Arthur. Okay, so I'll again introduce the next topic at the start of next Monstercast to clear out what we're talking about, but make sure it's albino. Don't give me white monsters. If you're going to have a hard time probably looking for something. If you do, just Google albino monster, whatever, albino goblin, whatever it is. Get some images. You don't need lore. Present it here and let's have some fun with it. It doesn't need to have lore. We are the lore makers here. We're great minds here. We can do our own stuff. So
Hell yeah.
if you can find something cool, I know there's a Predator, albino. All those big franchises are big enough to have albinos. But let's see what you can find. This is really exciting. And remember, it doesn't have to be of any franchise. Let's stop giving these big creators all this attention. Let's find something by an artist nobody knows somewhere on stupid DeviantArt or some better art website and give him a shout out and look at his creation because it's all fake anyway in this sense. So let's have fun. Albino monsters, guys. I look forward to seeing you here.
Damn, you're right. You don't want John Hogan Moses.
Love you too,
Then
Jono. This will be
day I will
digging
be the
done.
one
No,
who
Arthur, you
will prevail.
mentioned mine. Oh, great. Now I to do a different albino. What do you mean? Really, Louis? Go ahead and bring it up, Louis, next time. But if you find something else, go ahead as well. I'm sorry. You shouldn't have said anything. Maybe. But cool topic anyway, Louis. And I know we inspired each other on that one. You can find something, I'm sure. How true. But now more research. Yeah, guys, Google image. Remember, you can always Google image stuff. You don't need to look for something somebody made and got money for. That's part of the fun. Yep. So these are always kind of a treasure hunt. That's the fun thing about Monstercast for you guys that get involved. Okay, I gotta go, guys. Take care, Louis. See ya. Stay safe, people. I think we're done. Yeah, and white rabbits again. They're a bunch of albinos bred for the reason of aesthetics. I love seeing something rare, an albino form like a gharial, those crocodiles that have the long, thin muzzle, or an albino anaconda. You know, those are rare because, like, an albino Burmese python, you can buy many places, but albino green anaconda, that's pretty rare, and they go for quite the price. Then there's more. There's piebalds and other cool stuff too. Alrighty. White rabbit points to a hole. Thank you for saying that, Sid. Ooh, nice. Albino great white shark. See what I'm talking about? That is awesome. And it's actually nature-based. I mean, it's natural. It's not a captive bred.
Would an albino great white shark be a greaterer white shark?
I always called it great white shark.
It's basically the greatest white shark ever.
Yeah.
So people,
Major white shark.
we need to make this viral because this guy died not in vain. We need to honor this greatest of all white sharks. What an amazing creature.
Oh boy.
What a title. Thank you, everybody, for joining in on this Monstercast. All of you over on YouTube. Jono's going to keep mumbling. That's what he does. It's kind of fun if you get used to it. Sid, thank you for joining in. All of you that were in voice and left and in text, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for participating in the Monster Challenge, the monthly Monster Challenge. It's basically an art challenge. You're welcome to join in. Donde runs those. We don't know what the next topic's going to be. We'll let you know next Monstercast. And Donde will let us know in the Discord anyway, if he hasn't already. So watch out for that. Join our Discord if you want to share your art or participate in those or whatever, or these. We have a good time here. We've been going over a year strong now, over a year and a half. It's wild, yeah. Remember, the first year was like everybody going after ranks. This year is everything like starting to balance out, and this place starting to become like an aged wine. You know, our Discord's slowly becoming an aged wine. It's becoming full, more people are coming in, and just we know our character, and I just love that it's not huge, but people are active. Same with these chats. We don't have huge monster casts of 20 people, but everybody participates. We don't step on each other's toes. There's no silliness. We try to, well, we're always on topic of monsters. We might go into other monsters, but
Arthur, you're a dictator.
it's beautiful. Yes.
You don't accept some categories, but one day I will be the one who will prevail.
That's very cute, John. Keep going. We all appreciate that. Chris, sorry for keeping you up so late, and Jono likes it. That's why he's giggling.
Fine.
That's it. It's only us left here. All right, guys. You can say your goodbye. Thank everyone. Have a great day or night wherever you are.
Fear the unknown. Shoot it in the face with a shotgun.
Please vote John Hogan Moses next time, all of you. That's the only thing I have to say. Do that. I will give you names.
Sid, you are open. You are welcome to share any last words as well. And again, see you guys on YouTube.
Alright, I'll be popping off, gentlemen. I bid you a good night.
See you, Chris. Thanks for hanging around again. Awesome. Take care. Oh boy, now I'm stuck with Jono. Oh wait, I'm still streaming. Crap.